So, if anyone experiences hot flashes and you want to know what foods you should avoid and what you should eat more of, I'm going to share those with you right now. And then I'm going to talk about why this is so, because why is just as important as the what. The what is, giving you a fish, and the why is teaching you how to fish. All right, so what foods to avoid, what to eat less of. So in Chinese medicine, it's never, absolutely, you cannot have this, but it's more about balance and moderation. So you don't need to immediately cut all of this out of your diet, but if you're finding it's beneficial to reduce, then definitely reduce. And if you feel much better without it, then cut it out. But you don't have to go drastically about it. You can do it much more gradually. All right, so foods to avoid. You want to avoid hot and spicy foods. You want to avoid deep fried foods. Also, cut down on coffee and alcohol, chocolate, lamb, and dehydrated foods. Now, the foods that would be beneficial to introduce more of in your diet, those would include seafood, foods that you steam, poach, or boil. So you're basically adding moisture to the foods. Fruits and vegetables that have a higher moisture content. We'll put a little asterisk on there, and I'll explain that when we get to the explanation and the why. And finally, sesame and flax seeds, and I will explain those too. So let's talk about why. So we're going to go back to the concept of yin and yang. Here we have a yin yang symbol. Yin represents female, it represents cold, dark, earth, substance, and it is the black shape in the yin yang with a little white dot in it. And yang is male, it's the white shape with the black dot. And yang represents masculine, it represents heat, light, heaven, function, action, and energy. And as you can see with the yin yang, they're in a state of balance. So it's like a dynamic state of balance as as the yang waxes, the yin is also like a small, and as the yin grows bigger, the yang is smaller. So it's always waxing and waning this way. And they're not mutually exclusive. So that's why there's a little black dot. The yin is in the yang, and there's this white dot. The yang is in the yin. Well, the same thing is going on in your body. So yin is the substance. It like represents a substance, the organs, the blood, the fluids. And yang is the action, the function, the chi, the energy. So in terms of anatomy and physiology, yin is the anatomy and yang is the physiology. Like what yin's the organ and yang is what does this organ do? What is it doing for you? And then in the body, you have Qi, which is the yang element. It helps to direct the flow of blood, air, lymph, and even food. So those are the yin elements. And blood nourishes qi, and blood, both of these elements must be in balance for the body to be in balance. So in terms of hot flashes, the imbalance that we want to look at, so here's a yin yang. We want to look at the imbalance where there is not enough yin to balance the yang. So here they're equal size, and now you can see that the yin is smaller than the yang. So it's not in balance anymore. And if we want to look at it as a more metaphorical way in the body, yang is the fire, yin is the water. So there's not enough water to keep the fire under control. What happens when a fire is burning out of control? Well, there's too much heat. And so that is what leads to the hot flashes and the night sweats. It's not that there is too much heat in the body, it is that there's not enough yin, not enough of the water element to balance the heat. So as a result, the fire comes up, leading to the hot flashes, leading to the night sweats. The heat is coming to the surface and it's pushing the sweat out through the pores. And is sweat moisture? Yes. So it's actually exacerbating what's going on in the body. So let's go back to these foods now that you know this. So hot and spicy foods. If you have too much heat And when I say too much heat, basically not enough yin to control the heat. You don't want to add more heat to the body. That's what the hot and spicy foods are. You don't want to add more heat to the body. That's what that deep fried foods, that's what they're doing. Coffee and alcohol. In Chinese medicine attributes properties to different foods. Well, coffee and alcohol have a heating effect in the body. Same with chocolate, same with lamb. And with dehydrated foods, well, your body needs moisture to digest these foods. Why would you take food that has moisture in it, take the moisture out of it, and now your body has to deal with this really dry food when it already has a deficiency of the moisture element, the yin in the body? Um, well, this is why, the other list, seafood is considered to have like it's from the sea, moisture content, okay? Seafood is also, a lot of seafood is considered beneficial for the kidneys, the water, it's considered like associated with the element of water. So it's beneficial that way. Hot flashes are due to a kidney yin deficiency. So we want to have foods that help strengthen the kidneys. When you eat foods like steamed, poached, boiled, you're adding moisture to the food. So again, you're adding a way for your body to absorb moisture from food that can help counteract some of that dryness in the body. And again, that would be why fruits and vegetables with high moisture content would be beneficial. But I put the asterisks on there because you don't want to have too many raw fruits and vegetables because from a Chinese medicine perspective, that's really hard on your spleen. And from a Chinese medicine perspective, the spleen is the organ that is like one of the most important organs for digestion. That said that it helps extract the qi from the food and this qi from food, basically think of it as nutrients, is used to produce blood. So blood is part of the yin element. So you want to produce blood because when there's a yin deficiency, there's probably a blood deficiency as well. So if you eat too many of these cold, raw fruits, it's very hard on the spleen. It can impair the spleen's ability then to extract the nutrients necessary for producing blood. And that's also why the deep fried foods, I have that on the eat less because the foods are very heavy and oily. They can introduce what Chinese medicine refers to as dampness in the body. And so this dampness also can impair the spleen's ability to extract qi from the food. I say sesame and flax seeds because these seeds are, especially like the dark sesame seeds, they're black in color. Flax seeds are dark in color. And foods that are dark, like a black color, are considered to be what Chinese medicine refers to as tonifying, or basically strengthening for the kidney. They also have that moisture. So we don't want to overdo it because if you have a lot of oils, then it's like heavy and dampness. But people are not eating a cup of flax seeds or sesame seeds in one sitting. But if we have small amounts of these, then it will be beneficial for the body. So remember, I said it's not about here's this list, suddenly just eat this and tons of it. It's about balance. So gradually introducing some of these foods into your diet and eliminating some of these other foods or cutting back on them, and then seeing how you're feeling. So if you have hot flashes, see if this diet change helps with the severity of the hot flashes or the frequency of the hot flashes. So that's what I have to say about diet and hot flashes.